The American President Donald Trump has said that they would grant Ukraine a license to manufacture the Patriot air defense interceptors. And this comes as Russia has lambasted the NATO nations for making pledges to Ukraine, which includes the alliance's promise of sending billions and billions of euros in terms of aid to Ukraine. During a meeting with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Ankara, Trump said that some of the Patriot missile interceptors could be sent immediately, while Ukraine could begin production on its own pretty quickly. Now, the US President further added that pressure could be applied to companies to produce more Patriot missiles.
One of the things we're going to be talking about is we're going to give a license to you to make Patriots. That's pretty cool, right? This way you can't complain that we're not giving them enough. I say, make them yourself.
And earlier, Russia's foreign ministry had called NATO's actions as completely irresponsible. It also accused the European nations of preparing for an armed conflict with Russia. So as the war continues to intensify between Russia and Ukraine, citizens in Russia are facing hardship owing to a burgeoning fuel crisis. And residents in St. Petersburg could be seen standing outside of gas stations in long queues for petrol as the intensifying Ukrainian strikes in recent weeks have crippled the country's energy infrastructure.
The situation got catastrophically worse. Over the weekend, my husband and I drove around to maybe 15 gas stations in the Leningrad region. Either there was no gasoline, the stations were closed with signs hanging everywhere, or cones were blocking them. We couldn't get gas over the weekend at all, and only today did we finally manage to fill up at this one station, the only one we could find.
Now, following this, the Russian President Vladimir Putin has accused Ukraine of trying to damage the country's economy. Putin lambasted Ukraine for trying to create a nervous situation by intensifying the drone strikes on Russia's refineries. However, the Russian president said that the country's energy system has one of the highest safety margins in the world.
It is absolutely clear that the enemy is trying to damage the economy, but most importantly, is trying to create a nervous situation in society. We know, as you do, that it is an unachievable task. Russia's energy system has one of the highest safety margins in the world.
Now, Putin's remarks have come after Russia's deputy prime minister announced a ban on diesel fuel exports in a bid to stabilize the gasoline crisis. And according to media reports, over 90% of the Russian regions have experienced fuel rationing or shortages since the month of June. Meanwhile, the Russian forces are trying to counter Ukraine's mid-strike drone attacks by camouflaging the cargoes and also installing powerful jamming systems. And according to the Ukrainian drone commanders, the jamming systems are aimed at disrupting Elon Musk's Starlink satellite internet system. A majority of Ukraine's mid-strike drones are flown using Starlink, which allows a pilot to remotely communicate with a drone and has been largely immune to jamming. However, Ukrainian authorities say that Russia is deploying a jamming system called the Volner-Kupol Garant that emits a signal that is strong enough to destabilize the Starlink connection in an area of about 20 square kilometers.